Gibbon.
Here.
Urbon.
Here.
Thank you.
Here. Thank you. If we can all rise, please. We'll have a moment of silence followed by a pledge of allegiance. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 1 is consent agenda. Approve this agenda. Approve the city's treasurer's report for September 2018. Pay the claims as submitted. And we have 2 special designated liquor licenses. Motion to approve.
I make that motion to approve.
I'll
Mike
second.
Sisson, Feuerbaum.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbon.
Yes.
Urbon.
Yes.
Hankins.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2, approve the minutes of the October 2nd, 2018 regular council meeting.
So moved.
Second by Jeff Nankus.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbon.
Abstain.
Urbon.
Yes.
Hankins. Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 3, public forum. If anybody has anything you want to bring before the council that is not on the council agenda, now is the time and place. Something been added on our agenda is please state your name and address as a matter of record prior to addressing the council. Up to.
Come on up.
Good evening.
Good evening, Your Honor, members of the council. My name is Marsha Fangmeier. I am running for the legislature in the 38th district, which, as you know, includes the western part of Buffalo County, Elm Creek and Amherst, all of Phelps County, and then over to Kearney County, which is where I live. I have lived for 31 years, and then down to Franklin County, over to Webster County, up over to Nuckolls County, and up to Clay County. So it's this little U-shaped district. I have lived in Kearney County for 31 years. I've practiced law for 39 years, and most of which has been in the central Nebraska area. So I've spent a lot of time in Holdridge, most of the time at that courthouse over there. I want to represent this district because I share the same concerns that some of you have. I've spent a lot of time going through the district, meeting with mayors and economic development people and superintendents of school. I've met with your superintendent. I've met with hospital administrator here. I go to the nursing home and visit with the nursing home administrators, and I've just learned so much. And of course, I always try to find the guys at the coffee shop in the morning. I know where those people hang out. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about me. Like I said, my practice law has been a varied practice. Beginning in the 1980s, well, not beginning, but in the 1980s, I did a lot of practice with farmers, did a lot of farm bankruptcies, so I know something about that issue. I have worked in medical law. I have mostly done family law, juvenile court law. I do mediation, and I'm a trial attorney, so I've been in that courtroom advocating on a number of different kinds of cases. So I'm 65 years old. I just turned 65. I didn't fill out that Medicare
What's
thing.
wrong with that? I'd love to be there again.
And I didn't do it right because my husband's retired military, so we're on TRICARE, and I didn't fill it out right, so my drug benefit got cut off. Well, you know all those things, so dealing with that. But I had planned to retire from the practice of law in a couple of years, and so when this opportunity came up to run for the legislature, it just is right down my alley in terms of public service and my skill set. I have appeared in front of the legislature committees. I've had the opportunity and enjoyed very much sparring with Senator Chambers. So there's nobody down there that scares me. So, so I'm anxious to get in there and work for the issues in this district that are important to folks throughout the district. So, anybody want to ask me some questions? Or share their concerns?
Do you believe in local control?
Of course I do.
Can I put that in writing?
You sure can. Of course, it depends on what it is. That's what I'm a true lawyer, right?
Just like that one. Just like it. Cross that one off.
What, is there a particular issue that you're talking about?
We don't want ignored. We'd like to have some response when we email you or call.
You
Even from the
will
staff?
have my, I want to be, I've already thought, if I get in the legislature and they give you staff, I'm gonna have a staff person whose job is to reach out to folks like you and the county boards of supervisors and the superintendents of schools and throughout the district and say, what's going on? What's going on with the CEO at the hospital? What's going on at the nursing home? Which of course is, some of the nursing homes in this district are going to close. I visited with one in Sutton. They figure they're going to be closed by the end of the year because of the Medicaid reimbursements are not sufficient to keep them open, and they can't keep pushing up the private pay rates. And so you've got a 95-year-old World War II veteran who's probably going to have to find another place to live, which is really sad. So I hope that I'm going to have somebody who's part of their job is to reach out, so that we're not necessarily waiting for you. But yeah, I think people who know me know I like to talk to people. I like to listen to people. I will have my email, my doors open, my phone. I am having trouble with the people who helped me with this campaign, insisted that I set up a Gmail account instead of using my regular account. It's been a pain in the, well, you know where. So, but I'll be easily accessible.
Cool. Anybody else have comments, questions? Mary?
Hi, Mary.
Hi. Will you be taking any campaign contributions from corporations or PACs?
I've taken contributions from local PACs,
Okay.
in-state PACs.
In-state only?
In-state only. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't had any big corporations. If Warren Buffett offered me some money, I'd probably take it.
Sure.
But, no, I'm not going to take any money from big corporations. But I have taken money from local PACs. So, in-state PACs.
The reason I ask about
People,
that,
PACs, organizations that have memberships with you,
Locally.
with local, people who are part of their organizations right here in the 38th district.
the reason I ask that is because here in the past couple of years, we've seen what a conflict of interest that has been when we need something locally, but a corporation has made a contribution to people that are supposed to be representing us. So thank you for answering that.
I'm thinking about who's contributed to my campaign at this point, and it's everything from teachers to medical people to realtors to lawyers. I can't think of a situation where, I can't think of a single contributor who has, where I would feel uncomfortable saying, or having them say to me, I want you to do this, and me saying, well, yes, sir. I can't think of one.
Thank you for being honest about that.
Yeah,
We appreciate that.
yeah.
Well, we'd like to invite you back to town, like on the 28th, if you want to meet a lot of kids.
What's going on the
Spirit of
28th?
Grace is going to have a trunk or treat, and there's going to be like 600 kids coming.
Goodness.
So,
Something I
come
don't-
on
that's not what I was
down.
planning for.
Future voters.
Uh,
That's also one of the things I want to do in the legislature. I want to get something going to make sure we get our people out and get registered. We make such a big deal when kids turn 16 and they get their driver's license. All the hoopla about that. When they turn 18 and they can do take action on our most fundamental right that we have in this country, no big deal. No big deal. We need to make that a big deal and get people
I
registered.
think our high school has been pushing
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
I think our county clerk even was up there several
Good.
days, so like a month ago.
Great, glad to hear that.
And
That's
so
good.
That's good to see you.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Don't forget to vote. I'll sit and listen for a while.
Anybody else on public forum? I will close public forum then. Thank you. Item 4, open public hearing to receive comment on the redevelopment plan and redevelopment contract for the Heritage Apartment Expansion Project, CRA number 26.
You want me to fire away from here?
Can we hear you?
This is Trent Fuker's, the redeveloper on this project. It's kind of the final piece in the puzzle on the old middle school over at 5th and Burlington. You know, there's 2 apartment units there, 4 units each. So there's 8 units. They run east and west. And on the east end of that, there's a big garden lot. And on that particular spot, Trent would like to build a 4-unit apartment complex. It will be based on the actual plans of the other units that are there. It's going to look very similar to them. There's some paving that needs to go out in front that he'll run a street on. And these will be workforce development type projects. They're 2-bedroom, 1-bath units. They're market rate. There's no subsidy involved in any of that. It's just simply market rate apartments. He's already had people that want to rent them, and so these will be 4 market rate apartment units. The Planning Commission approved the redevelopment plan at the last Thursday night meeting. The Community Redevelopment Authority tonight approved the plan, did the cost-benefit analysis. Previously, they worked on the but-for test, and they're satisfied that all the i's are dotted and t's are crossed, so this comes to the council with the recommendation. The redevelopment plan's been recommended by the Planning Commission, which is something new. We used to have to do that, then they went away from that. Then in this last legislature, when they passed all the new rules that I passed out to you, we now have to go to the Planning Commission, have them approve the redevelopment plan. That's been done. The but-for test has been satisfied, and so he's here tonight asking you to approve it. It calls for an 85% TIF for 15 years. 15% of the taxes on the new construction will go to the schools and all the other taxing districts, the NRD and all the rest of them, including the city. So there'll be 15% go on the tax rolls immediately. 85% won't go on the rolls for 15 years. During the time that the 85% comes in, the city does withhold 10% of that 85% for administrative costs. And that's not for the city attorney, that's just administrative costs. But there's all kinds of new rules. In fact, that was this handout. I don't know if you remember all these pages that we handed out with all the new rules in it. So we had to revise our contract, revise the way we did things. We think we have all that. And Trent is here to answer any questions that you may have about the rents or anything like that. And I want to emphasize that Dane was extremely helpful in getting all the dates coordinated and all the publications done on time. So, you know, I can't take credit for any of that. I mean, he took care of all that, so I just wanted you to know that. But I don't know, that's all I have on it. I mean, I recommend you approve it.
And this is going to take the place of the pumpkin patch? Trent, what are you thinking? The timing is poor.
My grandchildren said the same thing.
Fortunately, there are still some pumpkins that are available, so pull up and grab them. They're there for the taking.
And this will, the structure, the other two apartments go east and west, this will go north-south, is that correct?
That is correct. On the eastmost portion where the garden area is currently is where the new building structure will be built, and it will be identical to the prints which I have in my hand here from the original build of the original apartment complexes, so it will be identical to them, just turned in a manner so it's facing the parking lot as the other two are from their directions.
Parking lot will still come in off of Fifth?
Yes, sir. Same driveway will be used. There'll be no additional driveway needed. There will be additional parking and paving needed in front of the apartment complex to accommodate 4 more units. But plenty of room, and should be a pretty good project. Try and get some workforce housing in town here, capture some young families, and try to keep our price point in the range that's of affordability, meaning everybody is interested in raising rates, doing whatever they're going to do to keep up with the times. Our target point is between $650 and $550 for a 2-bedroom unit with 1 bath. So depending on construction costs, we think we can, with the help of some TIF financing and some PCDC money, we think we can do this and keep those rates in that affordable area.
I know those are pretty nice apartments I've been in.
Yes, we have, currently we have Real Estate Connection does our management for us. We had a gentleman that was an engineer at Allman Brothers, and I think he still is, but he decided that the apartment thing wasn't for him, so he went to a house with a yard. And I get it.
That's good.
Made sense, so he vacated. I went in, cleaned up a little bit after him. He was very tidy, everything was great, no problems at all. While I was in there cleaning up in the 2-day period, we had 3 people looking at the apartments. While those 3 people were looking, the first one said, "I'll take it." The second one that came to look said, "I'll take it." He said, "You can't, we have another one coming available across the way. I'll take that one." The third one to come in said, "I'll take it. We don't have another one to give you." So they're impressed with the cleanliness and how nice they were inside. So pretty nice units, decent location.
That's a big lot
Yes.
where the high school used to be.
Yes.
No, excuse me. Family Dollar is where the high school used to be. Where that,
The parking lot,
where the parking lot.
that's where all the rubble from the high
Yeah.
school, you know.
You're good for, you got good foundation there.
Right. You have a timeline on construction?
We were wanting to break ground this year, but due to unforeseen events, taking some time to make sure all our T's are crossed and I's are dotted, want to make sure we qualified for the TIF process. We did a lot split, did the whole 9 yards. Unfortunately, that took like 3 months to get accomplished. So if we do anything today, approximately 10% of the project will be done this year, and will only be basically pouring the slab, getting the plumbing into the apartments that's needed, and then walking away until spring. I believe the TIF is, we've requested for beginning in 2019 for that calendar year and not 18. So I think there's only a certain percentage we can get done this year anyway, and push the rest mainly towards next year in the spring. And hopefully by August 1st, we've got tenants in time for school.
Any more questions for Mr. Fuker? Thank you. I will now close the public hearing then. Item 5, approve the redevelopment plan, redevelopment contract for the Heritage Apartment Expansion Project, CRA number 26.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Pat Simpson, Mary McDermott.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbon.
Yes.
Erbon.
Yes.
Mankey.
Yes.
Aldridge. Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you for doing this, Trent.
Thanks, Trent.
You're good, Trent.
Item 6, approve the 2019 Holdridge Tree Board Plan.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
Evening, John.
John Thorburn, Chairman of the Holdridge Tree Board. I have with me my predecessor, Terrence Studi, also a member of the Tree Board, and we'd like to present you with the plan, which, as I understand from Dane, you have the plan in hand. I do have a supplement to that, however, that I want to pass out. If I could, please. Some updated information from Brad McIntyre, who does the real work of the Tree Board and plants trees in our parks. I'll just briefly go through the plan. As you see, our mission statement to help shape an attractive community image and promote and educate the public on tree care and instill a sense of pride among citizens in the community. And trees are an important element in that, and Holdridge is very fortunate to have a number of large and well cared for trees in our town. And we have a very active Arbor Day celebration here in Holdridge. Mr. Mary participated in that for your years of your term, and get a good turnout for that. Have a good memorial tree program. A lot of people interested in honoring their family members and friends with memorial trees. We do, on the negative side, have to deal with some tree complaints. We only had 2 this year. We have had some news releases about tree care issues, trying to keep the public informed. And then, as it says here, Brad McIntyre, with assistance from the city crews and also Patriot Gardens, has planted trees. Now, the numbers here are actually they're last year's numbers, and so these are the updated numbers for this year. We didn't plant quite as many trees this year, but still had a net gain of 13 trees in our parks, so you see that as a positive. And we think we're on a pretty good track and essentially continuing what we're doing. We're also working on a census of trees and public rights-of-way in town. We've done, say, the north and west parts of town. We're down to an area, the older part of town, from Burlington east and 10th Street south. So that's what we're working on, with help from my summer interns and members of the tree board. So want to get a handle on the size, condition, and species of trees on our public rights-of-way. Of course, we have a lot of concern about emerald ash borer, a pest of ash trees, and pine wilt is a pest of Scots pine. As I say, we're fortunate that most of our trees and trees on rights-of-way are in good condition. The city's been very proactive about taking care of trees that have problems or diseases, and so I think Holdridge is really about as well positioned as it can be as we prepare for a possible tree infestation on the ash trees. Be glad to take any questions. The tree plan, I guess I should mention, maybe you're aware of it, the tree plan is an element of our Tree City USA designation, and so that's why we come here every year to give you this information.
I was going to mention that we are Tree City USA, and we have been for some time.
25 years, I believe.
The 4 parts of being Tree City is you got to have a tree
You
board.
have to have a tree board.
You got to
Have to have a plan. You have to spend a certain amount of money per capita.
$2 per.
I don't
I
recall
think
the
$2 per
exact
capita.
number.
Yes.
And we've met those qualifications for a long time.
And celebrate Arbor Day, which we
And celebrate Arbor Day, and you always do that. Any questions from council? You've got 6 people on your tree board, I believe. They've been there.
We have a dedicated and experienced group.
Yeah.
And I believe they're listed here in the plan there. They're all familiar names to you. Deb Aldrich, Danita Felty, Brad McIntyre, Karen, myself, and Paul Titus.
You guys do an awesome job for the city. A lot of volunteers. Any questions from council? Comments?
I think they do a good job. I know Brad puts in a lot of
He really does,
A lot of
yes.
work.
Very
He's kind of got a passion for it. So.
Yeah, he does. Very fortunate for that.
So, need a motion to approve the 2019 Holdridge Tree Board Plan.
So moved.
I'll second.
Larry Gibbons, Mike Sisson.
Burbine,
Yes.
Mankey,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Karen, for getting in here tonight. All you do. Item 7, approve sidewalk use and closing of West Avenue from 4th to 5th Avenue on Sunday, October 28th, 2018, from 4:30 to 6 p.m. for the annual Spirit of Grace Halloween Spectacular Trunk or Treat. Now, I see you brought a few spooks with you.
Yes, I did. Brought some exemplars of the genre. For we're going to be celebrating with the 5th annual Spirit of Grace Spectacular on Sunday, October 28th, from 4:30 to 6. We are requesting that the city would help us out by allowing us to close West Avenue between 4th and 5th, and allow us to make use of the sidewalk and such, and provide such barriers and barricades are necessary to keep traffic off of that, so we can keep the kids safe. This year, we anticipate that turnout will be very similar to what it's been in the last couple of years, where we've welcomed between 1,000 and 1,200 total people downtown, including in the neighborhood of 500 or so children. So one of our big purposes is to be it's kind of the slogan that we use is we want to be great neighbors to Holdridge. And so this is one of the ways that we try to do that. And so we've really appreciated the partnership with the city in the past, and would appreciate your assistance this year for the spectacular.
And you're still looking for a few trucks?
Yes, yes we are. We've got, as of when I checked yesterday, we were at 10, which is nearly to the goal that we set for ourselves. We want to have at least 12, and 15 would be great. And so there's always room for a couple more people to sign up. We always have a couple people who come like the last week and they're like, oh yeah, I was going to do a trunk the whole time.
Yeah.
All right, you could have told us a couple weeks ago, but that's cool. That's cool. So I'm not worried about having enough, but I want to tell you, people have a lot of fun doing trunks for the trunk or treat. You get to see pretty much every kind of costume there is. The kids are adorable. It's a ton of fun. Decorating your vehicle for that is a lot of fun too. You get to dress up if you want to, but you don't have to. Some of you look scary enough as is. And actually, and it's not supposed to be a big scary thing anyway. The big thing is that we're trying to make it a safe, fun, family-friendly environment for all the kids in town, no matter who they are or where they come from. And incidentally, we have people come from farther than just Holdridge or even Phelps County. We have people come from, I met a couple people who came from Hastings last year. Somebody came up from Kensington, and Allman. A couple people from McCook, so they come from quite a ways. And I'll be talking about this event on Friday, again for NTV's The Good Life. So who knows who might make their way to Holdridge and find out what we're about.
Sounds good. Good job.
I've been there several times and I still haven't brought any candy home, so
Well, I'd say
I'm kind of scary, but
I'm asking you guys to do something nice, so I'm going to try to keep my comments to myself.
very live.
Last time that I was asking the city for something with an event we were doing, I almost got in real big trouble with the mayor, so.
Oh, it's a big deal. Trunk or treat in Holdridge, Nebraska brings a lot of
It has
people
become
out, and it brings a lot of people together, a little unity,
and we have a ton of fun doing it too. It's just really cool to, and I'm going to brag on my church for 2 seconds. In past years, it's like anything, you got to sign up a bunch of people for a bunch of different tasks, and we're still working on signing up people for a few roles. But when it came to something like providing cookies, I mean, we basically home make 1,000 cookies for the event, and that we got signed up in one Sunday.
don't you have refreshments and cookies?
Yeah, and we have partnership from downtown businesses too.
If it's cool.
So, for example, the Holdridge Sun has already confirmed with us they're going to give away popcorn. Real Estate Connection is going to be down in town like they have many years. Well, actually, since we started, I think they've done all 5 years now with hot cider to give away. We'll have the cookies, and others might be there with refreshments, and so there's going to be some you're allowed to have some of that stuff. So please feel free to come and get yourself some cider, especially if it's a chilly one. Hopefully we'll have warmish weather and it won't be quite so brutal and cold. We had one where it was
Pretty bad.
really cold, but we've got good contingency plans in place We can theoretically do the whole event inside the church if we had to. It'd just be cozy.
Cool. Thank you for what you do for our community, Pastor Ted.
It's been a pleasure.
Any more questions? If not, motion to approve.
So moved.
Jeff Nankus, second by Troy Vaughn.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Abstain?
Givens.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Mankey.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'll beg your leave. I've got some hungry kids who haven't had supper yet, so we just came from soccer, as you probably can guess. So, thank you very much.
Busy
Thanks, Ted.
All right, Carney, so.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye, guys, thanks for coming.
We don't get too many kids up here. That's pretty neat. That's pretty cool.
Well mannered,
Item 8, approve request for the creation of a new paving district for Guston Street from Highway 23 north to 18th Avenue.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good
I'm
evening.
Ron Tillery with PCDC. I'm here to request a paving district from US Highway 20, or Nebraska Highway 23, almost a US highway, up to 18th Avenue along Guston Street. A little background on the project. The purpose of the request is to support a project that's been in development for quite some time now. We've been working with Allman, a Briggs & Stratton company, on a potential expansion that will occur here. Over the past year and a half or so, Allman has increased its employment from 65 full-time people to 201 or more today. I haven't checked in with Jim Kaplinski on what it is today, but they're at 201 today. They have open positions for 23, but they're not done yet. There are opportunities at this plant to import the production and assembly of additional new products in our market that are currently being accomplished at other Briggs & Stratton plants. So we have the opportunity, if we can get all of the pieces aligned in this project, to manufacture new equipment in their portfolio here in Holdridge, and also grow the employment at that plant by another 35 to 60 employees. And that would include also another $7 or $8 million in total investment in the plant to add more under roof space for manufacturing, distribution, and storage, as well as outside paving and storage, secure areas for finished product storage. So there are a number of things that are still yet to be resolved. One of those is the paving of Guston, which would facilitate better ingress, egress to the plant, but it also reduces the dust that contaminates their assembly process, both during the assembly and also when the finished product goes outside for storage. We have applied for and received preliminary indications from the Nebraska Department of Transportation that this will qualify for what they call an economic opportunity grant. The grant amount could be up to $500,000, which would go against the roughly $1 million price tag to pave that 1 mile of road. So part of our requirement to win that grant is to establish the paving district for the city's portion of that. We've already been to the county, and Tom Nutt from the county board is here this evening. The county approved creating the paving district for their half of the project. So that's what we're asking you to do tonight. What's at stake here, if we can get all of these pieces completed, is about a $185 million economic impact to our market over the next 6 years. That's the estimate that was run by the Department of Economic Development when we were preparing the applications. And that will also increase the county tax valuation by 0.33%. So it's a pretty significant bump up in a lot of different areas that we measure our economic success by. So I would encourage you to give positive consideration to that, and I'd be happy to answer any questions about that or the materials that are provided to you earlier in your packets about what we've already done. You may have also noticed that we have received confirmation from the Department of Economic Development for a Sites and Buildings Improvement Grant in the amount of $200,000. We've also run preliminary estimates for the Nebraska Advantage Economic Assistance Programs. And once we take the next steps in this process, then those dominoes will be triggered as well, and we'll move forward. Jim Kaplinski, the plant manager, is here to also answer any questions that you might have about the project to the extent that he's able at this point. There are, like I said, still a number of things unresolved that we're trying to work on, but this is one of those things that will move us closer to yes.
We're pleased to have Jim here, Jim Kaplinski. Come up here and join us. I'd like our council to know who is out to Allman Brothers. Glad to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
You've got a lot of product material sitting outside, finished products.
Yeah, a lot of that is sold. There's a portion of it that is going to be transferred up to Canada for the mining industry, but we just have to schedule trucks and get that up there. Right now is our heater season, so it's we're getting ready for the winter in a lot of locations, so that's a big part of our build. But really, there's not a lot of available product out there. Here's an example. Today I was told that we passed on 300 to 400 additional light towers because of the hurricane that just took place. We had a no quote because we just couldn't do it. They need the product now, and we're unable to help them. We are able to help in compressors and generators, but the light towers, not so much right now.
So that's a pretty big number you had to pass on.
It's a huge dollar number. Not that we would have won all of that business, but even if we would have gotten 10%, we're talking millions of dollars.
Which with your expansion, that would help you to be able to fill an order quicker like that?
Yeah, actually, we would build, add an additional line for this product that we're talking about. We're going to add 2 additional other lines that are in design at this point. And that's really where a lot of the growth will come with the assembly people. And with that comes additional welders, additional people to run lasers, vendors, and engineers, and everything like that. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when I got there and ended the first year, we were just coming out of that recession from the oil and gas. At the end of June, we more than doubled what we did the year before. So what Ron said is, when I started, we had 65 hourly and people out on the shop floor. Today we have 185 with another 20-some job openings that we're trying to fill. That doesn't include about the 30 or 40 people that are in the office now.
You have 2 different shifts.
We work 7 days a week now. The shifts go Monday through Thursday, and they're running 12 hours a day for the most part, and then a weekend shift that works 3 12s, and we pay them for 40 hours.
And this is why we need more workforce housing in Holdridge.
That's right.
Phelps County.
Yes, sir.
And we get the people living here, spending their dollars, multiplying.
Over 60% of our people live in a 30, 40 mile radius.
And we want to capture as many of those people that are currently commuting as possible. So part of our package back to Briggs and Stratton emphasizes the down payment assistance grant program that we introduced last year. And also our newer renters relocation grant program. I think Jim has 2 employees that have recently relocated here from outside the county into Holdridge. And we hope to capture more of those new employees in Holdridge or Phelps County going forward, because then their paychecks stay here rather than going someplace else.
Cool. Any questions, Jeff? Right.
Hey, Bob?
Not till tomorrow.
Bob, is this gonna be like an interlocal agreement with Phelps County?
Could be.
Well, I mean, you get around the
Yeah.
lid by doing that.
Yeah.
What part is Holdridge paying, what part's Phelps County? Is there a formula or,
I think it's 50/50.
huh?
50/50 or something like
Over and above what the
that. Yeah, we
grant?
could do an interlocal, and then it'd be an exception.
Right, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
we could use, yeah.
Larry?
Like if this goes through, when you hope to have it going, or if we,
Well, if we get all of our ducks in a row, which this is a piece of it,
right,
right now they're also evaluating 2 additional Briggs locations because they have the capacity at this point in time. Our preference is to do it here. I would know probably before the end of October if we're gonna go with this.
Cool.
This is the perfect kind of economic development for our community. It is growth at a pace that we can absorb. It's difficult to find people, but we can, over the course of this construction period and ramp-up period, work with the company to recruit and find people that will fill those positions.
It'll be close to a year from the time that we would kick off a contractor till completion in that time frame. We have the winter to deal with, and so we're trying to evaluate, do we do building in the winter? Do we pay that extra premium? Those are questions before my CFO at this point in time.
One of the things that we'll be doing through PCDC is reconfiguring the boundaries of the property that PCDC owns and also the property that they currently own, so that we can have a footprint for their future development that is more compatible with how they want to develop it. Right now, it's kind of an odd layout with a long, pie-shaped piece on the southern end of the and western side of their plan, but we're working with them to square that up.
It was nice to have Governor Ricketts out here a couple weeks ago, touring the plant, touring the facility.
Got a thank you letter today from him, in fact. That was a nice touch on his part. It was exciting for the facility to have them, and we did something a little bit different. As we went around, I had picked out operators to describe what they do in their areas, and we had our own photographer, so today I handed out the pictures with the person talking to the governor and so on, so that they, something to remember it by.
Cool.
It was a nice touch.
yeah, well,
Allman's been a part of Holdridge for a long time. It's
Well, we
nice to have.
celebrated 80 years back in September.
Yep.
We had a steak dinner for all our employees. Our CFO flew down on his plane, and he was part of the celebration. So Briggs is really becoming more vested in here. It's evident by my position, and I'm trying to be more involved with Rotary and other things. I think Briggs really wants to be part of this community. They've donated monies now to the school. Their foundation, we put a couple of requests in for their foundation to give to the fire department and to the school. I don't know what they're gonna do yet, but we're trying to give back.
And last year, was it $5,000 to the CAD program, or?
$5,000 for new CAD stations, and
The high
gave
school.
$500 to the robotics club and to the welding department, and then we supply their steel for them as well.
Super. Any other questions, comments for Jim, or?
I think it's just great that their company's willing to invest in Holdridge and grow. You know, and look at bringing some other facilities into here, rather than being one of the towns that they're moving the facility to another location.
Right now, we have a joint venture with a Japanese company, and part of the product is built over there, then it's assembled in north of Atlanta, and we've already brought in 2 of the particular units that we're assembling in-house, which means now we make those, one of the 2 trailers. We don't have the capacity to make all the trailers, so, and now I think it's January, we'll be bringing the 3rd product on board from them over here. It doesn't make sense to do all of it because some of the stuff is so large, close to, I don't know, the size of this table on the 150. Some of that stuff is really big.
Thank you, Ron. Mr. Kaplinski? Swedish? I appreciate it.
Close. 500 miles. Thank you for your consideration.
Welcome to the neighborhood. Item A, approve request for the creation of new paving district.
I'll make that motion.
Frank Evans. No second. Mike Sisson.
Burbach,
Yes.
Nagy,
Abstain.
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, could I request a written confirmation of that action so that we can provide that to the state of Nebraska?
Won't be a problem. But not tonight. We're going to skip 9 for right now. We'll come back to it. Now we'll do the open discussion. Bob? Dane?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Sergeant McIntyre, welcome to the council.
Oh, thank you for having me. Just to let you guys know, we hired a new officer, Noah Stewart. He started Tuesday, of last week. It's great to have him, and now we're fully staffed as far as officers, but he'll be training for quite some time. We'll train him through our FTO program, and then he'll be in the training center for several months, so.
And the nice thing about Mr. Stewart is he's got local ties, local connections here.
Yes, he does,
So that's always cool. Thank you.
you bet.
Troy?
Nothing.
Jeff?
No, sir.
Simpson?
Just to point out, Kim's trying to get caught up on some of their projects. The shelter roof is on today, and they're gaining on the bathrooms, so it's good to see some progress on some of this stuff.
Thank you. We finally got some decent weather.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mike?
Nothing?
Mary?
If anybody has any friends or family members that are not yet registered to vote, it's not too late to do that. You can go down to the courthouse, or you can also do it online through the Nebraska Secretary of State's office. It takes 5 minutes and no more to get registered to vote. And then your postcard comes in the mail a few days later.
Awesome. Thanks for the reminder. Larry?
Nothing.
Rod?
Later.
Afraid you're gonna say that. Kim?
Nothing.
Brian?
No, sir.
Mary?
No.
My turn then. We're gonna be looking at doing some, well, we've been working on some properties that need to be cleaned up, abandoned, and some of that. We're proceeding with some of that. And our municipal code now is live online, is that correct?
It's not online because I can't do that until you approve it. It is available and you have a link to it, but I haven't put the link on our website or anything yet for the public because it's not approved yet.
That'll be coming up.
Yep.
Okay.
A note about that, Mr. Mayor. I had asked Jane to give us maybe a month to be able to go through everything with a fine tooth comb before we actually put it on the agenda. Does anyone else have any opinions about that?
It's gonna take a while to go through it. Our code book.
Yeah.
It'll put you to sleep pretty quick, day after day.
I'm asking for at least a month, but if you want to go longer, we sure can.
Well, let's give it at least a month and see what the council thinks by that time. So, that sounds great. Nothing else? I'll close the open discussion. We need to make a motion to consider negotiations with the IBEW and FOP.
We're going to closed session.
Closed session. Motion by Simpson.
Second.
Yes. Angus.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Givens.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Did you get, Trent, did you get your square of Dane? You and Dane here?
Jim, thanks for coming in.
Hey, Marty.
We'll have you back out.
I might need to.